everybody. My name is Alyssa Cooper, and this is Cooking in Quarantine. And this week is Babylonstoren week. So if you see here, I have a lovely little display here. I should get this door closed properly so that it's not in our way. And happy Labor Day weekend to all of you. So Babylonstoren. Babylonstoren is an amazing magical place in South Africa, and I have worked with Babylonstoren for almost 6 years now. It's amazing. So anyway, what I'm going to do for the next couple of days is I'm going to talk about the remarkable property that it is. I'm going to talk about the remarkable things that I have that are available from there, and we're going to kind of enjoy that. But since this is the first real wine spot that I've done, I would like to kind of start at the very beginning and start off with equipment. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you out there have a lot of different, maybe a lot of big, bulky things with 2 arms for wine opening. That's not really what you need. You really don't need anything except, to me, pull taps, except no substitutes. An actual pull taps is a great wine opener. They will last for a very long time. If you want to splurge, a Laguiole is a good one. But really, $10. This is fantastic. If you ever drink wines that have aged, so like let's say you've got a 20-year-old bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon that you're planning to open today, you need an ASO. An ASO is a wine opener that helps you to open wines that might have very delicate corks. Here, now you can see that a little better, right? So anyway, I'm going to demonstrate how to open with the ASO, because I assume that most of you know how to use a double hinge. They really couldn't be simpler, and it's almost impossible to mess it up. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is removing the foil. Now, in recent years, people have started removing the foil from above the lip of the bottle. I think that that's crazy, and let me show you why. In order to do it from above the lip, it's very hard to hold on to that cut. But if I do it under the lip, that is incredibly sturdy. And the actual lower lip of the bottle gives me the kind of ability and the line, right, to cut so that it's nice and clean, right? There we go. A perfect clean line there. And I've removed the top of the foil. You don't have to worry about any of the wine coming into contact with it now, because the top of the lip is going to stop that from happening. Now, normally, if we were going to use this double hinge, close the knife so you don't poke your hand, but you would simply put your finger opposite the point, lay the point as close to the center of the cork as you can, and twist, right? But we're going to try to use the ASO. So the ASO has one arm that is a little longer than the other arm, and we start by sliding that arm in, and you want it to go in between the, hello Carolyn, between the cork and the wall of the neck, right? So sometimes that's hard. Part of the reason you do this with old corks is that they are usually a little softer, right? That's why you don't want to stick the you don't want to stick a screw into it, right? There we go. I'm starting to get that down in there. Perfect. And then you just rock it, right? And as you rock it, it goes further and further down until you get to the place where now the shorter end is able to go. And again, oops, it's a rocking situation, right? We want to rock this. There we go. We're rocking, we're rocking, we're rocking. And as you get it down in there, there comes a point where you can start to twist it and pull it up and pull it up. And I didn't put it down in long enough, I'm sorry, but you can get it down in there, and then that lifts right out, and you don't have to worry about the cork breaking, because here we go. Now I've gotten it all the way down in there. There we go. Now when I go to pull it out, the cork is going to come right on out. It's not the simplest. Again, like I said, this is a situation really made for older corks, and they are usually wetter because those wines would have been stored very, very well and for a long time. So, oh goodness, so this cork has only been in this bottle. This is a 2020, so the cork has only been in there just for a few minutes. Sorry about my timer, guys. So let's stop that. Here we go. And while I'm at it, let's turn the air conditioning down a little cooler. It's hot under these lights. There we go. So, hello, Kentucky. So, guys, here we go. So, the wines that we're going to talk about today, these are all, the first two are, I feel like, very affordable. The third one is a little bit higher priced, but not, again, outside of really anybody's reach. So, if you have a laptop or another device in front of you other than what you're watching me on, or can split your screen, go to Babylonstoren.com. So what does Babylonstoren mean? Babylonstoren means the Tower of Babel. So if you were to go to Google Images and Google Babylonstoren Hill versus Bruegel, Tower of Babel, you're going to find the Bruegel painting of the Tower of Babel, and next to it you're going to see the little funny hill on Babylonstoren that is shaped exactly like Bruegel's painting, the Tower of Babel. So I always imagine, since the recipient of the original land grant that was Babylonstoren, I imagine Euripides like he arrives after his long ride down the coast, down the Atlantic to arrive here, that he gets there and looks and goes, Babylonstoren! Really, like Euripides, Eureka. So I always think that that's really amazing, so if you can see that. But then if you go to the Babylonstoren website, you can go to, on the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the three little lines that will drop down a bunch of search places for you, and go to garden, and then go to, I think it's tour our garden or view our, whatever the first one is under garden. And that will show you an overhead view of the centerpiece of the farm. So this farm is a couple thousand acres now. We grow not only grapes to make wine, but olives for olive oil. I have here some beetroot and garlic salt. I have rooibos and what am I trying to say? Rooibos and honeybush tea here. I have some new, a different strain of olive oil is coming soon. I had the most delicious fig and star anise jelly from there I've ever had in my life. All of these beautiful, wonderful linens come from Babylonstoren. As I always say about Babylonstoren, you think that you've been to a farm to table, you've been to Blackberry Farms, you've been to Stonehill. This is like all of that come together. So every morning the chef and her team go out and they harvest from, if you're looking on the website and you're seeing the aerial, see how beautifully formally laid out that garden is. That garden is 8 acres and has over 300 species of fruits and vegetables, all of which are edible. We keep fowl, chickens, peahens, guinea fowl, that are allowed to walk through the gardens every morning, and they eat the bugs and they leave their guano, and so it is completely vegan. No dead animals were harmed in the making of this food and vegetables. There are citrus fruits and plums, and it's just, as I say, it is the closest thing to heaven on earth that I can imagine. I always feel as though I am in the book of Genesis when I'm there. It is absolutely splendid and amazing, and makes the 24-hour trip to get there completely worthwhile. So, first of all, we have a new wine that just came out this year, and it is called Candide. I literally wrote an email last week and said, why Candide? One of our wines is called Nebuchadnezzar. We'll do that on Red Day. Why Nebuchadnezzar? Well, Babylon, the Tower of Babel, Babylonia, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, right? All of that. But Candide. So the only thing, since I haven't gotten a complete answer to that yet, is if you remember, Dr. Pangloss always tells us in Candide that we are here in the best of all possible worlds, living the best of all possible lives in the best of all possible worlds. And boy, if that's not a way to describe South Africa, it is, like I said, like being in the book of Genesis. So, what is this wine? This wine is a lovely blend of all the things that we do at Babylonstoren. So in this glass is Chenin Blanc, Viognier, Chardonnay, and Semillon. And this is magnificent. This has the kind of mineral overtones that a really good quality Riesling might have, that things that kind of the minerality starts pushing it almost to petrol. This is absolutely beautiful. So one of the first things that we noticed when we first brought these wines to the United States, the first dinner we hosted was out in the Hamptons. Not the first, one of the first. It was out in the Hamptons, and we paired the Viognier with a yellow curry that was spectacular pairing. People who were at that dinner still talk about how spectacular that pairing was. This wine is $26. This wine is $19. So that few extra dollars, I feel like, takes it from being maybe a Saturday night wine to being an every night wine, right? So if you've got anything, I think tikka masala would be so good with this. I think about, again, a green curry because it has the kind of nose to stand up to the pineapple. It also, speaking of pineapple, would be great with that al pastor I made a couple of weeks ago, because not all meat has to be paired with red wine. Sometimes they're too delicate, too floral, too fruity to be paired properly with red wines. The acidity is outrageous, so if we were in a wine tasting, a professional wine tasting, I would say that the acidity is medium plus. And the complexity of fruit flavors is really amazing. Mostly stone fruit, and of course with such high acidity, you're going to have to go like to lemon, maybe even like a little bit of mandarin on a back note in there, but this is splendid. Now, understand, you too can drink these wines, because I have the ability to ship everywhere in the United States. All right, guys? So, if you're interested, reach out. So, other wines that we have here, Chenin Blanc. Chenin Blanc, this is 100% Chenin Blanc, and the hallmark of Chenin Blanc for me is honeysuckle. So, if you grew up in a part of the world where people pull honeysuckle blossoms right off of the fence row and suck the honey out, or suck the nectar out, that's really kind of the first thing that pops up with this. Again, a beautiful wine. Again, 2020. So I've had some people say that they're looking forward to demolishing 2020. So there's that. This is, again, another $19 wine, a perfect wine for afternoon. This wine has that kind of super clean, bright, minerally sensibility that I think just makes it a quaffer, makes it an aperitif. I have over here some Saffron Road crackers and a little brie cheese, so that's what I made for lunch today. And that's going to be about it. I'm really so not in the mood to eat right now, which may be why I'm doing a little wine class. So, and then Viognier. So let's talk about first that all the grapes that you know the name of are pretty much from France, right? Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc, Shiraz, Syrah, Pinot Noir. These grapes are all grapes that sprung up and were and are indigenous to this part of Europe, where it is France. Now, there are a couple others you might know because maybe you love Italian wines and you know Nebbiolo and a few other grapes like that. But the big seven, Riesling, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Shiraz, and what am I missing? But you get where I'm going, right? That these are the most important grapes, and they are all from France. So these are from France. So Viognier is from the south, near the Mediterranean, and Chenin Blanc is near Versailles. How about that? Everybody knows where Versailles is, right? Because we've all been there. So you can immediately imagine that the climate is vastly different in the north of France than it is in the south of France, right? Warm breezes, it never really gets terribly cold. Yes, maybe you can see people skiing in the mountains while you sit and take a lovely walk on the ocean front or on the sea front. Up in the north here, where Chenin Blanc comes from, it's a very short drive to where Champagne comes from. And we know that Champagne's hallmark is that it is a cool climate wine. So you get two different things happening here. You're going to have a much brighter wine here and a little richer wine here. That's just what he does. If you ever drink, say, California wines versus European wines, you know immediately that a Bordeaux, while it may be mostly Cabernet Sauvignon, is much lighter in its body than the Cabernet Sauvignon that you get from California, right? Because it is markedly 20 plus degrees warmer during the growing season in California than it is in France. So these are a few things that are important about wine in general, and I'd love for y'all to think about those things. If you have any questions about wine, things that you'd like to have answered, I always have an answer. So you can pop them in here, or you can, if you go to my website, canteddiva.com, you can write me an email there. Either way, anyway. So that's pretty much it for today. 20 minutes, bada bing. So here we have, again, inexpensive, a little more expensive, beautiful, amazing wines. If you can also go to bottlerocket.com and order them. All of the Babylonstoren wines are available there, except I'm not sure if they've actually received their Candide and their Cabernet. So if not, call me up. I'll make that happen. So guys, thank you again, and thank you for not making me cook today. Sometimes it's daunting. By the end of the weekend, when I've dirtied it up and cleaned it up and dirtied it up and cleaned it up, some days it's going to be really nice to not have a dirty kitchen. So, sometimes, guys, how you take care of yourself is different in different days. I saw something really interesting the other day for people who are youngsters, that for all of you who aren't going to get to have a real senior year, maybe your sport is a fall sport, you're not going to be able to, maybe you didn't have a spring musical, you might not have a spring musical again. For those of you who are looking for elite colleges, what they're looking for is, what did you teach yourself? What did you do with your time? Did you volunteer your time? What did you do? So look at those kinds of things. And remember, kids, it's not too late. You've still got several months to teach yourself something new before you go and start having college interviews. So how are we going to take care of ourselves today? We're going to meditate, we're going to exercise, we're going to drink something beautiful, and we're going to make some beautiful food. I'm sorry that my beautiful food today so far is only gluten-free crackers and brie cheese. But there you go, guys. So sometimes that's what's good for you, right? So I love you all. I thank you so much for being here and joining me. Come back tomorrow when we're going to have some rosé wine and talk a little bit about that. I love you all, guys. Babylonstoren.com, BABYLONSTOREN. I'll put that in the notes after it's posted. This actually is from their annual calendar here. This is their idea for wine snacks. So take any kind of a flatbread. It could be a flour tortilla or a multigrain is what they ask for. Put it in a pizzelle so that it toasts up really nicely, and serve it with blue cheese and passion fruit. I had to wait a minute, I had to say what it is. And then just smear a little passion fruit on your blue cheese and your crispy multigrain pizzelle. Doesn't that sound awesome? And it would be really good with this little wine, I think, and certainly with a couple of the reds. So guys, I thank you again for showing up. That's all. I love you. Thanks. Have a great rest of your day. Hello, Ramona.